you know. Okay, so I just have to check the date.
Sorry, everyone on your call. I'm trying to figure out how to mute, but if you can please mute yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay, sorry about that. You can take your benefits as early as age 62, but you will be penalized. So my grandpa, he's 97. When he retired at 62, he was like, hey, I want to start taking my Social Security. So he had a 25 reduction of his benefits, right? So if his full benefit was 1,000, he gets $750 a month. And that amount is forever. So even once he reaches his full retirement age of 66, he still gets that $750, that lower amount forever. So you'll see on these little graphs, the earlier you take it, the more reduction that you will have. And then once you hit your full retirement age, then there will not be any reduction for taking early. Now, if you decide to work while taking Social Security, depending on your age, you could be penalized. And so I had a client, her full retirement age is 66, and that she turns 66 next year, December, and she's still working. And she's like, hey, I want to take Social Security now, but I'm still working. What is it going to look like? So I say, hey, you're under full retirement age, right? You're not 66 yet. So for every dollar that you earn, for everything you earn above $17,640, Social Security is going to penalize you $1 in benefits for every $2 you earn. And I'll show you an example next. So then she says, hey, what if I take benefits? What if I start Social Security next year then? Because I turn 66 in December next year. Can I take it in January next year? Well, then you're going to be the year that full retirement age is reached. So now the limits are a little bit higher. So whatever you make above $46,920, you'll give up $1 for every $3 earned. She's like, hey, that doesn't sound good. I don't want to lose out on benefits. So I say, if you don't want to lose out, then wait until December of next year when you're your full retirement age. Then it doesn't matter how much you earn, you won't be penalized from Social Security. Now, even though there's a penalty, they do make it up later when you start withdrawing. They have some kind of calculation that you get it back. Or I'm not exactly sure how, but they do that. So here's an example. So here's John, he's 62, his benefit amount is $12,000 a year from Social Security at full retirement age. He's still working, he makes $25,000 a year. And so if he were to take it early at 62, he's now making $7,000 over that threshold. Remember that threshold was $17,640. So the difference of 25 minus that 17 is 7,000. So he's 7,000 over that threshold, and his penalty is $1 for every $2 over, right? So that comes out to $3,600.
You better refrigerate this one.
Okay.
I just left that on the counter.
Oh.
You always at least, I think. It doesn't matter.
There we go. Okay. And so because he is penalized by $3,680, he will only receive $8,320, right? So of the $12,000 minus the penalty, that's how much he's going to get because he's taking it early. Now, if you're able to wait, it's even better because your benefits increase by 8% a year. So every year you wait, you get that increase up to age 70. It doesn't increase anymore past age 70, so you might as well take it out at age 70. So here I say for clients, if you don't need the money, 70 might be a good idea. Or if they're saying, hey, I need to live off of the money, but I have other money, I have CDs. So I say, how much are your CDs paying out? If your CDs are only giving you 1%, then it might make sense to take from the CDs first, because this one is growing by 8%, whereas your CDs are only growing by 1%. So there's advantages to delaying your benefit, right? The longer you wait, the more you get. So in this example, this person, if they claimed at 62, they'll get $1,500. If they claimed at 66, they'll get $2,000, or 70, $2,640. So obviously waiting, you get more, but it all depends on kind of how long you're gonna live. I mean, we don't know how long we're gonna live, but if you kind of just think about life expectancy or looking at your health, you can still make some good educated guesses and see which scenario would you come out most ahead. And so so what we do is we look at the break even. So here's an example. Someone taking at age 66 versus 62, they'll come out ahead if they lived until at least age 76. Once they pass age 76, they would get more in benefits than taking out at 62. Similarly, if you live until age 79, it would have been more beneficial to you to take at age 70 versus taking at age 62, that reduced amount. And then if you live until at least age 81, then it would have been more beneficial to take from 70 versus 66. And you'll see, right, over their lifetime, they would have collected 1.5 million versus taking 1.2 million at 66. And again, we can help you do all these numbers. If you don't get your statements, you can go to ssa.gov and create a login there, and you'll get your numbers. How much if you were to take it out early, when you're full retirement age, how much at that time, how much at 70, and it'll show you all your past years of earning histories too, so you can check on that. I actually had a client, her employer forgot to, I don't know how, but they forgot to submit her records, and so it showed income for 2 years of 0 when she was working there. So they're getting that corrected, and so that's going to help her Social Security benefits. So you can cross-check that as well. Now, unfortunately, Social Security is taxed as well, and the amount of taxes that you owe is depends on your income. Excuse me. So if you are, let's say, married filing jointly, this bottom box, if your income is less than $32,000, then none of your Social Security benefits are taxable. If your income is between $32,000 and $44,000, then about half of your benefits will be subject to taxes, meaning that's added to your income. Half of that money is added to your income. Over $44,000, then up to 85% is taxable. And so when they look at that, what they do is they look at your provisional income, and so they count half of your Social Security benefits, income from municipal bonds, work, business income, interest, capital gains, dividends, IRA distributions, and rental income. Provisional income does not include growth on in your IRAs, 401ks, or annuities, because they're all tax deferred, same as Roth IRAs and HSAs, or non-taxable income from life insurance. So there's some planning strategies here on how to get in that category you want to be. And same thing with Medicare too. Medicare, we're actually going to be doing a workshop next month about Medicare. But as a little preview, Medicare, the amount of premium you pay also depends on your income and retirement. So some planning opportunities there. Okay, let's look at spousal benefits. So you can collect spousal benefits, or so you can collect your benefits based on your personal earning records or based off of your spouse's earning records, whichever is better. So here is an example. So let's say, because I'm a female, I'll say, let's say my benefit is $3,000. And let's say my husband, he was a stay-at-home dad, he didn't work. And so he doesn't have any earnings record. And so off of his benefits, he wouldn't get anything. But as a spouse, he's eligible for half of my benefits. So he can get $1,500 a month from Social Security. But let's say he worked and his earning record says it's $2,000. Well, $2,000 is higher than $1,500, so he'll get the $2,000. Now, just like we talked about earlier, by taking benefits early, you get penalized. Same thing for spousal benefits. If you take your spousal benefits early, then you get a lesser amount. So if you take it at 62, you'll get, instead of getting the full half of the benefit, you'll get 35% of the benefit, and such scaled depending on how early you take it. Survivor benefits. So let's say one spouse passes away early. The surviving spouse can get the deceased spouse amount as early as 60, but if they take it early, they're going to be penalized. So they're going to get up to 28.5% of it, except for widows and widowers with children who are under 16. But here's a strategy some people do. They can switch to their own benefits at their full retirement age. So let's say I'm 60, my full retirement age is 67, and I'm entitled to $3,000 at 67. But my survivor benefit is $2,000, and I take it at 60. The reduced amount is $2,000 at 60. So I'll take that $2,000 at 60. Once I turn 67, I'm going to switch it to my own benefits, to get that 3,000, and that will continue on. So I won't be penalized for taking survivor benefit, and my regular benefits continue. So here's an example of spousal benefits. Let's look at Gary and Amy. They're married, they're both age 62. Gary's full retirement benefit is $2,000 a month. Amy didn't work, and so she can get $1,000 a month, right? 50% of her spouses. Now, if they take it early though at 62, remember they're gonna be penalized, right? So Gary, he's gonna get $1,500 a month instead of that $2,000 because he took it early. Now, Amy, she's entitled to half of Gary's benefit of $2,000, which is $1,000. But because she's taking it early, she only gets that 35% of $1,000. Or I'm sorry, penalized 35%. So she gets $700 a month. But for the survivor benefits calculated a little bit differently. So if Gary passes away, Amy's benefit will be $1,650 a month. Let's say now they're both 66. So Gary's full retirement age, Amy's full retirement age, and they decide to take Social Security then. So Gary will get his regular $2,000 a month. Amy will get 50% of that, $1,000 a month, and then survivor benefit $2,000. So if Gary passes away, Amy can get the higher of her benefit or his, and his is the highest. So she will get $2,000 a month as the survivor benefit for the rest of her life. Now let's say Gary says, hey, I want to grow my benefit. I'm going to wait until I'm 70. Well, he gets that 8% growth every year off of that 2,000. And so now at 70, he gets $2,640 a month. Amy's spousal benefit now, spousal benefit, they get 50% of the full retirement amount, but it doesn't change if Gary waits till 70. So she still gets 50% of that original 2,000. So she still gets 1,000. But here is where it helps. When Gary passes away, Amy will get the higher survivor benefit amount, which is now $2,640, which is Gary's amount, right? So this is what some people do. They say, hey, I want to grow my benefit amount to the max so that surviving spouse will get the maximum amount available. So here's in a numbers form. If they both claim at 62, Gary would end up getting, and then he passes away 85 and Amy lives till 92, then Gary would have collected a total of $414,000. Amy would have collected a total of $193,000, and then with her survivor benefit, another $138,000. So they would have got a total payout of $745,000. Had they waited until full retirement age, then you'll see here, Gary would have got $456,000. Amy would have got $228,000, right? Because they're not getting that reduced amount for taking it early. And then survivor benefit also more. And then here at 70, because they waited, they get that 8% increase every year. Gary's benefit would have totaled $475,000. Amy's spousal benefits total $180,000, but the survivor benefit totaled $221,000. So over their lifetime, they would have got out $876,000 by claiming later. So of course, in this scenario, you'll see that they live longer, so it made more sense for them to wait till age 70. So now I'm gonna hand it over to Glenelle, and she's gonna finish up by talking about divorce scenarios and different strategies.
Okay, hi. Did you give me control, Kelly?
Yeah.
Okay. Aloha, everybody. I am Glenelle Jordan, and I'll be wrapping us up with some interesting strategies. But first, I want to talk a little bit about benefits for divorcees. Can you believe it? There's actually a benefit to being divorced, and your ex-spouse doesn't need to know about it. So here's what it is. So if you have been married, and let's say you've even been married a few different times, you get to choose which ex-spouse you would like to receive Social Security benefits from. And the best part, they never know about it. But the caveat is that you're only entitled if you've been married to them for at least 10 years. So funny story. So my mother, so she's now 70, and I help her with all of her retirement plans. When I first learned about these Social Security laws about 10 years ago, I thought it was so interesting. I was like, wow, you really get to choose, you know, which ex-husband to take benefits from. And naturally, you're obviously going to choose who had more earnings history because their benefits will be higher. So when my mom's been married a handful of times, I won't even say how many times, but a handful. And when I learned about this, I went to my mom and I was like, oh my God, Mom, I just learned the most amazing thing. She wasn't full retirement age yet. And I said, guess what? You get to choose. Here's a benefit of being married so many times is you get to choose which ex-husband whose benefits are higher that you could collect off of. And I stopped there and she was like, no way. And I was like, yeah, isn't that great? You can just choose. We can call and check and see whose was higher and da da da. And then after 5 minutes, I was like, oh, wait, I forgot to tell you one important part. You had to be married at least 10 years to any of the ones you want to choose from. And she got so mad at me, like it was my fault, like I made the law, because I don't believe any of them lasted 10 years. But then we started thinking about it. We were like, was that one 10 years? Was that one? No, maybe not. So in her case, she didn't get to choose. She had to choose her own Social Security. But it is an interesting thing to know. And like I said, the ex-spouse will never, ever, ever know about it. So an interesting benefit to definitely keep in mind. And if you know anybody this applies to, definitely share it with them. Okay, we'll talk about a couple different strategies. Kelly mentioned them, but I'll go over them again because they are interesting and they can help to maximize your benefits, because Social Security isn't cut clean. It's not just about benefits, it's how you can maximize your benefits. So there have been changes to strategies. So prior to 2015, Kelly, I think you clicked something. Okay, prior to 2015, there was a few different strategies which made people kind of work the system so that you could maximize your benefit. But then there's this law in 2015, the Bipartisan Budget Act, and it does make sense that the reason this law came into effect was to save Social Security money because they are running out of money. So they signed this law and it effectively got rid of a couple strategies, the restricted application and the file and suspend. The restricted application is still applicable, but it's quickly becoming less applicable as people get older and don't qualify anymore. So the only people that this can affect, and if this isn't you, this might be somebody you know. And so it is basically free money. So if you do know somebody in this age range, so it's anyone who has attained age 62 before December 31st, 2015. So then they can use this strategy. In a few years, this strategy won't apply to anybody anymore, but I'm gonna go over it. So if it does apply to you or you know somebody, you can let them know. The file and suspend, that one is completely gone. You may have heard about it, but it doesn't exist anymore for anybody. So here's the restricted strategy. So we have Megan and Adam. And the way it works, so let's say Megan, she's 66 and she receives she files for benefits and receives $1,500 a month or $18,000 a year. Her survivor benefit, which is Adam, so if Adam passes away, is $2,640. And this is assuming that Megan lives until 92. Adam, he is also 66, but he says, you know what, I don't want to file yet. Maybe he's still working or he just doesn't need the money. So he decides to not file and he waits 4 years to let his benefits grow. And then they grow to that $2,640 per month, which is $31,000 per year. So the strategy, the restricted application strategy is that when Megan files at age 66, Adam files a restricted application at the same time. And what that does is it lets his benefits continue to grow to age 70, and he can be entitled to half of Megan's benefits. Essentially, it's the spousal benefits. So for the next 4 years, from 66 to 70, he can get that $750 a month, and his benefits literally keep growing. So that's $9,000 per year for 4 years that he just gets from Social Security pretty much for free. And he could do anything he wants with it. So it is a huge benefit that a lot of people don't know about it. It still is around, but it's only around for people in the certain age group still. And then at age 70, after his benefits are maxed out, he'd then want to switch to a zone, because like Kelly said, after age 70, the benefits don't keep growing. So there's no incentive to wait past age 70. At age 70, that's when you want to start taking your Social Security at the latest. So the difference in, not using the restricted application versus not using it is basically $36,000. So it's that $9,000 a year for 4 years. So over their lifetimes, if Adam passes away at age 85 and Megan passes away at 92, the difference in the payout will be $36,000. So the thing about this strategy though is the spouses have to be normal retirement age, and one spouse has to be receiving their benefits. They have to file and be receiving their benefits. Stated another way, so this is applicable, you see this date here, for people that were born before January 1st, 1954. So if this is you, or if this somebody you know, then this is a strategy they can use. But if you were born after this, sorry, this strategy is no longer available. Okay, Kelly, can you mute yourself? I hear a buzzing.
Sure.
So the strategy for widows and widowers, Kelly went over it briefly. We'll go over.
Sorry.
The fire bell. Someone's on fire. There's a fire bell going out there. I said, can you buddy? I hear a buzzing. I said, it's a freaking fire bell.
Thanks, Kelly. Okay, let me get back to this screen. Okay, so widows and widowers have some options. So let's say we have husband and wife, and unfortunately, men statistically don't live as long as women. So that's why in a lot of these examples, the husband passes away first. So let's say Wendy is age 60 and husband is age 66 when he passes away. So his benefit at age 66 was $2,400. So this is the only time you can take Social Security early, is before 62, is if your spouse passes away. So you can take it as early as 60. Wendy's own Social Security benefit at age 62 would be $1,500. At age 66 it'd be $2,000. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the different scenarios and different strategies where she can maximize her benefit. So the first thing she could do is, she's 60, she could say, I want to start my widowed benefits immediately. And she'd be receiving $1,716 at age 60. The second thing she could do is not take it at age 60. She could wait until 62, receive her early Social Security, which is $1,500. And here's the thing with the widow benefit is then you can switch it to the survivor benefit. So at age 66, she could switch to the survivor benefit, which is now higher because it has grown. And that one's $2,400. So that's the benefit for the widow's benefit, is you can switch back to the other one and let one grow in the meantime. The third thing she can do is she can start the survivor benefit at age 60, but then decide she's going to wait and let her own personal Social Security benefit grow to age 70, because that one's even larger. That one grows to $2,640 per month. So there's different things you can do depending upon, you know, if your spouse's Social Security was higher, you can wait. So it's a good analysis to do if this happens to you or if this happens to somebody you know. So comparing all three, if she did only survivor benefits, she'd receive $658,000. If she did the one where she waits to 62 for her own Social Security and then switches to survivor, she would gotten $820,000. And then if she started the survivor but then switched to her own at age 70, she would have received a total of $900,000. So it definitely pays to put some thought into how you want to take your benefits when we're talking about spousal and widowed benefits. As Kelly said, so they stopped mailing the paper Social Security statements several years ago. Again, another strategy to save money. So now what you can do is you can go create an account. I created an account really easily for my mother and even my husband quite quickly. You just go to socialsecurity.gov or ssa.gov. I even do this for my clients sometimes if they're in my office. You can sign up immediately. They have a couple of identity questions they'll want you to answer to verify it's you. If you get the questions wrong, all you got to do is wait 24 hours and then you can try again. But once you're in, then you can download the PDF of your Social Security statement and even review your earnings history like Kelly was saying. So it's pretty interesting and it's updated every year. So I encourage you, if you haven't done that, go on to ssa.gov, create an account, download your statement. And with that, if you have questions on what strategy is appropriate for you, then we can look at those numbers along with your spouse's numbers and figure out the best strategy going forward. So that is the finale of the Social Security workshop. If you'd like to email either of us, our emails are there. If you want to talk about your own Social Security strategy and the best one to take. The next workshop is actually going to be on Medicare. It's called Medicare Made Easy. It's not us presenting it. It's a Medicare specialist. Her name's Taryn Kumamoto. She will be presenting it. Medicare can be incredibly complicated. And there are so many different facets to it and so many options. So if this is you know, if you're something you're gonna have to make decisions about for yourself, I'd encourage you to attend. She is an absolute wealth of information on Medicare and all the different options. So it'll be September 24th. It'll be on a Thursday, but then same time, 11:30 to 12:30. If you're in our email database, you'll get an email about it. Otherwise, in about a week, it'll be on our website to register. And Kelly just blacked out the screen.
Sorry, I don't know what happened. Can you go back? Does anybody have any questions? If you want to type it in the chat. Are you able to go back? There we go. I can't see the chat, but Glenna, can you check the chat, see if anybody has any questions? Yeah, usually we do these workshops in person, so we usually get a lot of questions in between. So we finished a little bit early today. Any questions there, Glenna? If not, we can just end early.
Let's see.
Oh, here we go.
But if you do have a question, it's more private, just email us.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody for attending today. And we hope to see you on our next workshop. The next one, Medicare, and then the following month, October, we're gonna be doing one on long-term care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Have a great day. I think they're going to be shutting down again, so get whatever you guys need soon. Take care. Stay safe. Bye.
Thank you.